I know that there's other NHL teams that have interest in Joel Hofer, so what are the St. Louis Blues going to do?
Hey, this is Brandon Chen. Subscribe to Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today on Locked On Blues, we're going to talk about how other teams have interest in Joel Hofer and why the Blues need to act fast. And secondly, we need to talk about Ryan Suter's future because there is a lot of discussion around Suits. Personally, I think the Blues should re-sign him if he wants. And there is no buzz around this year's NHL Entry Level Draft, which has me a little confused, a little puzzled, just because I feel like usually the draft, especially being under 1 month away, brings in some enthusiasm, but not so much this year. So we have a lot to get to on today's episode of Locked On Blues. But I do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. We talked earlier this week about Joel Hofer and why I believe the Blues should re-sign him. Why not? He is a great backup goalie, and I believe, personally speaking, he's only going to get better, right? Now that he is an RFA, because yes, it is the off season, there's again the potential that another team could maybe use offer sheets on him. Now, these are rumors that I've seen circulating like Reddit and different things like that I don't think have much truth to them. But it got me thinking. The Blues were a really aggressive team last year with their offer sheets to Edmonton for Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway. And what if another team who was interested in Joel Hofer used offer sheets? Now, again, that'd be kind of ironic because it'd be taking the Blues' playbook, but that is a possibility. Also, this is the other speculation of said offer sheets that it would range from about $2.5 million to $3 million annually. So again, isn't that really interesting that these rumors are circulating offer sheets? And again, the pay, I did say that it should be around that much money. So for that reason, it makes sense. Now, I wouldn't maybe go with the $3 million annually. I would have gone with maybe $2.5 million. But either way, the fact that other people are now kind of putting this out there makes me believe that there might be some truth, right? I always say this, but when you see something on the internet, you don't always want to believe it. But this has been something that's been kind of speculating a little bit more. And Bleacher Report actually wrote up about the potential offer sheet situation, which is why I am now addressing it on this podcast. I thought when it came to an offer sheet, maybe you would do it on a different player. I wouldn't necessarily think Joel Hofer. But again, the way that the NHL is, a lot of teams do need good backup goalies. And this is something where I feel like the goalies haven't developed how they used to in the past. And I talked about that. We've got into detail about that. That's just my opinion. I'm going to talk to you about some of the teams that potentially could make an offer to Joel Hofer and the St. Louis Blues. So for one, teams that need a good backup goalie include the New Jersey Devils. And again, this is all my opinion. The Columbus Blue Jackets, the Montreal Canadiens. Now, again, love me some Jakey Allen for life. But again, San Jose, Buffalo, and Ottawa. Ottawa, I mean, they could help with their depth a lot. Another team that could help with their depth would be the Bruins, maybe even the Golden Knights, the Flyers. But I really do think that this is a situation where there is a lot of teams that could potentially use a Joel Hofer, right? And we're seeing different names right now about who could be that. I mean, we see Aiden Hill, right? About, some good candidates. Joseph Woll, who played great in the playoffs, in my opinion. Sorokin, but again, he is more of a starting goalie than a backup goalie, so that wouldn't make sense. But I don't know. I feel like Joel Hofer is so underrated because he is one of those goalies that I don't want to say gets outshined by having Binnington on the team. But when you ask people about the St. Louis Blues and their goalie, I'm sure a lot of people are going to just say, oh, Jordan Binnington, and they don't know much about Joel Hofer, right? And again, it's not committed for him to be with the Blues, right? And that's what makes me really nervous. I feel like if Joel Hofer was to stay with St. Louis, the Blues would have extended him by now. I don't know why they're waiting, and that's what makes me nervous. I mean, this season, he played 31 games, 16 wins, 8 losses. Overtime losses were 3. Goals against average was about 2.6. Save percentage was pretty good with a 904. He had 1 shutout. He played a total of 1,679 minutes. Shots against were 767. And then saves were 693. And goals against were 74. So again, not so bad, right? I mean, Hofer, here's the thing. With playing 31 games and having over a 904 save percentage, it does show that he is a sustainable backup goalie. And yes, he did get 1 shutout win during the season. However, in my opinion, with only playing 31 games, that's actually a really good statistic as well. And I feel like maybe, I don't know, this is something where we could see Joel Hofer being looked at more so than some other players, right? And he's really good with his angling in net. He's able to cut down shooting lanes efficiently, and he's good at tracking the puck. He is also calm and he's composed under pressure. And again, 6'2" build, athletic, and he's only 24 years old and still has a lot of time to grow as a goalie. When I spoke to Joel Hofer earlier this season, I asked him, I said, hey, what's it been like working under Jordan Binnington? And he says that he really enjoys it, that he learns a lot from Binnington. And I feel like this is something that we've seen from Hofer now for the past couple seasons of how much he really does look up to his mentor, Jordan Binnington. And I even spoke to Jordan Binnington about Joel Hofer, and he told me that he really likes working with him and he likes helping him and seeing him grow. And I feel like when you have a solid goalie, Tatum, with Binnington and Hofer, you don't want to split that up because here's the other possible situation. You bring in a backup goalie. Let's just say you bring in Adin Hill somehow, some way, right? Adin Hill's in. What if there's just not that same chemistry? You get what I'm saying? And I feel like when you have something good, keep it. And if you have something really good, which I think this could be really good, not there yet, but it could be, you're going to keep it even more so. So spend the money and extend him. When the Blues do this whole waiting game, I know it's still May, but it's drawing interest to other teams that are like, oh, well, this is kind of interesting that there's been nothing done yet with Joel Hofer. And that's what makes me nervous. As a Blues fan and as a hockey fan, I am a little bit on edge about what's going to happen. 90% of me feels like, hey, he's going to be on the Blues come next season. And then there's this 10% of me that's like, ooh, what if another team sends out an offer sheet? Like, what if he's gone? And that would make me nervous. I feel like the Blues are a better team with Joel Hofer on it than not. So, again, in this situation, what do you think the Blues should do? Do you think they should extend him or do you think they should let him walk? I personally think the Blues should extend him. There's no reason for him to be picked up by somewhere else. It's a silly situation. And again, let me know what you think. Personally, I want Hof to remain as a Blue. Coming up, I'm going to talk to you about Ryan Suter's future, but I want to talk to you about my friends over at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances. major momentum shifts, and can't miss moments, whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player. There's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Personally, right now, I am loving that Knicks and Pacers series, maybe because of Tyrese Halliburton. What the hell, y'all? What the hell, say? You already know. Why not bet? So with FanDuel, it makes it easy because if I want to bet that Tyrese is going to get over 20 points, I can easily do that with my FanDuel app. So, new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. When it comes to the St. Louis Blues, you cannot count out the guys that are over 40, and that's just one. That is Ryan Suter. Ryan Suter has been such a highlight to this team. At 40 years old, he contributed significantly to the Blues' defensive lineup. He played all 82 games of the regular season with 2 goals, 13 assists, and 15 points. He only had 24 penalty minutes, which honestly, in my opinion, is not bad. His average time on ice came out to about 17 minutes per game, 150 shots on goal, 81 hits, 13 block shots, 20 takeaways, and he had no points on the power play, but you know what? That's okay because obviously those block shots and those hits, especially those hits, 81 hits for Suter. Can't complain about that. So we had some milestones this season. So on February 8th, Suter played his 1500th NHL game, becoming the 22nd player in league history to reach this milestone. And then on January 18th, so like about a month prior, he played his 500th consecutive game. Wow. Yep. That's something pretty special if I don't say myself, right? So his contract, it was 1 year, it was $775,000 for last season. And right now he's a UFA at the end of the season. But here's the thing. I feel like despite his age, he was really one of the best defensive players on the Blues. And you might laugh when I say that, but it's true. I mean, Suter really did play his heart out. And Suter said this because it was really interesting, right? Because Suter, after the season ended, right, this month, he was on a recent episode of The Late Shift, and it's like a whole St. Louis Blues' YouTube series. And Suter stated that he would like to keep playing, and he has his wife's blessing. Well, okay, provided if his wife gives her blessing. I hope she says yes, but I do understand that is a lot on a family. He did mention, though, his interest in signing an extension with the Blues and, again, getting back to the Stanley Cup playoffs. And he also said that he enjoyed his time in St. Louis, and he really enjoyed the leadership of Captain Braden Shen and a desire to move his whole family to the city full time if he receives an extension. However, the Blues, they have not shown a strong interest in retaining him beyond the season, especially when it comes to the guys like a Tyler Tucker, Philip Broberg, a Cam Fowler, even though Fowler's a bit older, but whatever. It's still uncertain what's going to happen. However, I still feel like Suter should at least get a 1-year extension. I really like Ryan Suter, and I saw this guy play so hard. And even in the locker room, people said before the season began, oh, Suter's a locker room problem. When I was in the locker room, he was joking around about like where to get food after practice with the guys. Like, I have never, and again, I've been in a lot of NHL locker rooms, thought a guy like that who had everybody laughing with him was an issue. You get what I'm saying? And the Blues' locker room, and that's one thing that all the guys, like even neighbors especially, praise this team for having a strong locker room and how the additions to the team, which did include Ryan Suter, were really beneficial. For the Blues, I already told you the guys on defense that I don't want. Like, I would rather have Ryan Suter over Nick Leddy and Justin Folk. And that's the reality. And maybe it's because I'm a little bit biased, but I saw objectively better hockey from Ryan Suter. I mean, those 20 takeaways were no joke either. And while he didn't play the entire series against the Winnipeg Jets, when he did play, he played some really good, dominant, strong hockey. I think sometimes we need to stop looking at age and just look at play. And what I mean by this is simple. Yes. Is Ryan Suter 40 years old? Yes. Is that old for hockey? Yes. But is he still playing good hockey? Yes. Is he still playing aggressive, hard-hitting hockey? Yes. So all can be true. But for me personally, I feel like Ryan Suter plays better than Tyler Tucker, who's in his young 20s or mid 20s at this point. I just don't understand why the Blues would write him away when he is still a key contributor defensively. I think it's easy for all of us to just say, oh, well, what if he gets injured? Okay, well, the Blues will cross that bridge when they get there. I don't think anybody expected Torrey Krug to sustain the injury that he had, and it's a very unfortunate situation, and I am sad about it, if we're being honest. I am really bummed about Torrey Krug, and that is something that's going to sting for a little bit. Because again, I always defended Torrey Krug because I felt like people kind of hated on him because he was an older player and they expected more out of him. But I thought he did a fine job. So again, I won't ever understand that. All I'm doing though is stating facts. And the facts are that Ryan Suter is a positive impact on the Blues. So much so that I am okay with him getting an extension. And again, do I think that, this is a player right now that's going to get like a 2-3 year extension? No, I'm just asking for a 1 year extension. But him even saying that he wants to move his family here, I'm just saying that's kind of a big sign. So right now, when it comes to the oldest active NHL players, I mean, Marc-Andre Fleury would have been it. But again, like that was his final season. Suits obviously is up there at number 2. You have Brent Burns. I talk about him a lot. He looks a lot older than he is. He's on the Canes. They just got eliminated last night. Of course, we have Corey Perry. I mean, Corey Perry has lived like a million lives. Ovechkin, who was 39. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. I know that, first off, I'm not comparing Suter to Ovechkin. But, like, why don't people talk about Ovechkin's age when he's 39, but yet for Suter, it's like, nobody, you're too old. So again, like I won't get that. I just don't see a world that we live in. Like Chara was 46. Joe Thornton was 44. Justin Williams was 41. But hey, let's hate on Ryan Suter. And you know what? 1 year extension, all I'm asking, pay him the league minimum, whatever. I'm sure he'll take it, like whatever, and then call it a day. But until you make some moves for the defense, you're really just going to hurt yourself by not extending him. And that's what it comes down to. Like the defense is a hot mess, like a hot mess. So I don't see the harm in extending him. I don't know what the front office is thinking. I would love to talk to Doug Armstrong about this and have a few words. But again, let me know what you think. Do you think that Ryan Suter should be extended? Or do you kind of say, okay, Suits, maybe hang up the skates, But again, what do I know? What do I know? All right, I'm going to talk to you about why there is no buzz around the NHL draft. But first, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Locked On Blues or subscribe here on YouTube at Locked On Blues, where you and we talk about the St. Louis Blues every single day, breaking down all things Blues for me, for you, for us, for everyone, because here there is no off season on the Locked On Podcast Network. Again, your team every day. My everydayers know how much I love the draft. But here's the thing. I feel like there is no buzz around the draft. There is no buzz at all. I feel like it's for a multitude of reasons. I feel like, one, there's not a lot of high players in terms of profiles. Like, we all knew it was celebrating last year. Then we had Bedard. Like, there was a lot of big names. That's number one. Right now, Matthew Schaefer probably will go first, right? Left-handed defenseman, somebody that we kind of need, ASAP Ferguson, but we're not going to get him. And you have Michael Misa, who's going to probably go second. He's a center, again, another position that we kind of need. But again, I don't know if any of these guys will be ready, though, until a couple seasons. You have James Higgins, who's actually one of my favorites, but I think he's going to fall back a little bit later in the draft, obviously not to 19. Again, the Blues, they're not going to be picking at 19. Like, they're going to trade it. Roger McQueen, he's another one that's interesting. He's going to drop back, too. He's a center on the Wheat Kings, WHL. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, like, there's some, like, really random, like, teams that I somehow watch time to time. But the point being, none of those guys the Blues are going to get. And I don't know. I just feel like there's not any buzz because it's not, like, a really deep draft. Like, you think about the 2016 draft, even the 2017 draft. Oh, my gosh, the 2017 draft was a beautiful draft, right? And then you have guys, maybe like a Cameron Reed, who's a left-handed defenseman who plays on the OHL, that the Blues could have interest in. Quentin Burns, he's a center from Boston. I watched him with Boston. Lucas Fisher, a winger. But again, the Blues have that 19th overall. They got that from Pittsburgh. Second round, they have none. Guess what? Third round, they have none. Yeah. Wait. How many? I feel like they don't. The St. Louis Blues have in the draft. I think they just might have the one. They don't have, right? Like, no, they have 3 picks. Okay. Then a 19th overall, the 147th overall, and the 7th round pick, the 211th overall. Yeah. So, again, like, the offer sheets, it was worth it. We love Holloway and Broberg. Like, that's fine. Like, I'm good. But maybe that's why there's no buzz, because I have no interest. I honestly, like, I knew they didn't have any in the second or third round. I did not realize not for the 4th either. Wow. So they have the 19th, 147th, and 211th. Wow, big news right now. Sorry, fans of hockey. I hate to be the one to break this, but right now, Jake Ottinger was pulled for Casey DeSmith after allowing 2 goals on 2 shots. Ooh, not good. Anyways, as I was saying, Jordan Binnington, the best goalie to play in the NHL playoffs this season. Oh, boy. We're going to have a rematch of last year, aren't we? I'm going to crash out over that. Well, I will talk to you all tomorrow for an Are We Feeling Blue Friday. Hopefully we'll have a Hofer extension soon. And like always, let's go Blues.